Imagine waking up in a world where your phone can't find its location, airplanes lose their navigation systems, ships drift blindly across oceans, and rescue teams can't track a single missing person. A world where maps no longer matter, routes mean nothing, and every movement becomes a risk. Today, GPS is so deeply woven into our lives that we barely notice it. But what if I told you that the system guiding your Uber driver, your airline pilot, your bank transactions, and even your daily routines was never meant for civilians at all? What if the world's most trusted navigation technology was actually born from fear, secrecy, and the looming threat of nuclear war? This is the untold story of how a military experiment created in the darkest days of the Cold War became humanity's most important invisible lifeline. The story begins in 1957, a year that shook the world into silence. That was when the Soviet Union launched Sputnik, the first human-made satellite. To the average person, it was a scientific breakthrough. But to American scientists and politicians, it was a warning shot. If the Soviets could put a satellite into orbit, they could also deliver a nuclear weapon across continents. For the United States, the sky suddenly felt dangerous. As Sputnik passed overhead, two American physicists, William Guier and George Weifenbach, decided to track its radio signal out of curiosity. But something strange happened. As the satellite moved, its radio frequency shifted slightly, creating a wobble in the sound. It was the Doppler effect, the same principle that makes an ambulance siren change pitch as it passes you. And this small, accidental discovery sparked a revolutionary idea. If you could track a satellite from Earth by analyzing its signal, then maybe, just maybe, you could reverse the process and track something on Earth using signals from satellites. This was the moment the seed for GPS was planted. A simple question changed the world. Could satellites tell us exactly where something is, anywhere on the planet? By the early 1960s, the U.S. Navy urgently needed better navigation. Their nuclear submarines carried powerful ballistic missiles, but underwater navigation was unreliable. A submarine that couldn't pinpoint its exact location couldn't accurately aim a missile. The solution was transit, the world's first satellite-based navigation system. It worked by using Doppler shifts, but it had limitations. It updated positions slowly, sometimes only once every few hours. It wasn't accurate enough, wasn't fast enough, and wasn't global. Transit was a stepping stone, not the final answer. The military wanted something far more advanced, something that could guide submarines, ships, aircraft, and missiles with near-perfect accuracy. They needed a system that functioned in peace, in war, and under the threat of nuclear attack. And so, in 1973, the Department of Defense quietly approved a top-secret program called Navstar GPS. The goal was almost impossible, to blanket the entire Earth with a constellation of satellites, each equipped with incredibly precise atomic clocks. These satellites would broadcast timing signals so accurate that even a billionth of a second mattered. The challenge was enormous. If the timing was off by just a millisecond, a person's calculated location could be off by hundreds of kilometers. To solve this, engineers built the most accurate clocks ever created, atomic clocks, and launched them into space. These clocks became the heartbeat of the system, and from them, GPS slowly began to take shape. But building GPS wasn't easy. It took decades of funding, endless political arguments, and countless scientific disagreements. Multiple times, the program nearly died. Billions of dollars were at risk. Satellites malfunctioned, budgets were cut, and not everyone believed the world needed such a system. But everything changed on September 1st, 1983. On that day, Korean Air Flight 007 drifted off course into Soviet airspace due to a navigation error. The Soviet Union, thinking the aircraft was a spy plane, shot it down. All 269 passengers and crew lost their lives. The tragedy shocked the world. And in response, President Ronald Reagan made a historic announcement. Once GPS was completed, it would be made available for civilian use. For the first time, a military navigation tool would be gifted to the entire planet to prevent tragedies like this from ever happening again. But the real test for GPS came in 1991 during the Gulf War. The vast, featureless deserts made traditional navigation nearly impossible. Soldiers relied heavily on GPS receivers, primitive by today's standards but groundbreaking at the time. Commanders later called it the first GPS war. The system guided troops, tracked vehicles, coordinated attacks, and saved countless lives. By the end of the decade, GPS had moved from the shadows of military secrecy into the hands of the world. By 1995, GPS became fully operational with 24 satellites circling Earth. What started as a Cold War survival tool had officially become a global utility. Today, GPS is the quiet heartbeat of modern civilization. It does far more than help you find directions. GPS provides precise timing signals that keep banks, stock markets, and the internet running. It synchronizes global communications, manages power grids, coordinates airplanes and cargo ships, assists in agriculture, controls delivery fleets, guides rescue teams, monitors earthquakes, tracks weather systems, and supports countless scientific missions. Without it, the world would descend into instant chaos. If GPS suddenly stopped working, global finance would freeze, flights would be grounded, emergency services would collapse, and modern society would experience a technological blackout. But for all its power, GPS has one major weakness. Its signals are extremely weak and can be jammed or spoofed. This vulnerability is why countries like Russia, China, the European Union, and India have developed their own satellite navigation systems: GLONASS, Beidou, Galileo, and IRNSS. The world now relies on multiple constellations to stay safe, but GPS remains the most widely used and universally trusted. As we look toward the future, GPS is evolving again. Scientists are developing quantum navigation, new anti-jamming technologies, ultra-precise centimeter-level positioning, and advanced signals like L5 for aviation safety. Spacecraft may soon navigate using star tracking instead of satellites. The next generation of GPS could be nearly impossible to disrupt. What began as a secret military experiment, crafted in fear, built in silence, and tested in war, has become one of humanity's most important inventions. It guides us when we travel. It protects us when disaster strikes. It keeps our world connected and our technology alive. We may not see GPS above us, but GPS sees us every second of every day. And as long as those satellites continue to watch over our planet, our world will keep moving forward. If you want more untold stories of the technologies that shape our world and the hidden history behind inventions we can't live without, make sure to subscribe, because this is just the beginning. There are countless secrets still waiting above us, beneath us, and all around us, and we're here to uncover every one of them.